What is this phenomenon when the boss puts out a standard and says, hey, this is how this works, and all of a sudden you're trying to follow that to a T, which isn't always convenient, and then you see a group of employees over here that are just breaking the rules all the time, and the boss says nothing, but if you're 5 minutes late to work, he'll make sure that you know about it. It feels incredibly unfair, and it makes you wonder what is going on. This phenomenon comes down to the concept of standards are not what we preach, they are what we tolerate. You can put a list of rules on the wall. You can say we're always on time. We always wear our safety equipment. We always communicate effectively. We always email within 45 minutes. Whatever the rules are, that is what you preach as a leader. But that does not make those rules the standard. What makes those rules the standard is what the leader is willing to tolerate. So if rule number one is that we are on time every single day, but there's this cohort of team members that are consistently late day after day after day, if the leader does not step in and do something about that, it does not matter what's written on the wall as a rule or preached from the leader's mouth. What matters is what actions that leader takes, and if the leader chooses not to take action, the new standard, the unwritten standard, the unspoken standard is it's okay to be late on a consistent basis. This is already bad enough, but where leaders really make a mistake is when a certain employee is late, they come down hard on that one person. All of a sudden now we have different standards for different people because there's a lack of consistency. Consistency is incredibly important when it comes to leadership. What the leader puts on one employee as a standard needs to be applied to everybody all the time. It has to be consistent from the leader. The number one way to lose good people is to treat them differently in terms of standards, creating double standards, especially when the standard is already written on the wall or spoken by the leader. And then you feel like that's incredibly unfair because you know that same boss watched everybody else break that rule consistently day after day, but because that boss expected something different out of you, like actually following the standard, they came down hard on you, and that's a number one way to lose some of your best talent. So this goes out to the leaders. Standards are not what we preach, they're what we tolerate. We are really good in every industry, especially automotive, with coming up with solutions. That's easy. Honestly, it's easy. All you have to do is identify the problem to identify a solution. Anybody can sit at a desk and say, this is the problem. These are the three solutions. This is probably the best one. Let's do that. That's the easy part. Everybody thinks that's the hard part. That's the easy part. The hard part is actually implementing that solution. That's where the real work comes in.